Okay, so let's say you're just doing like a little bowl shape, doing the pinch method. First thing you want to do is roll it into a wall. Doesn't need to be perfect, just roll it into a rounded shape. Then you're going to take this, hold it in your hand, you're going to take your thumb, you're going to push it in about halfway, then you're going to pinch it. You're going to put your hand like this to pinch. Don't go like this and do like one little pinch like this, because your walls are going to be so flimsy they're going to break. Okay, so go like this, keep your hands straight. Another thing I see people do is go like this and like curve their hands. No, keep it straight. Put it in there, you pinch it, and then you turn it. As you're pinching and turning, see, you're creating the walls of your piece and you're opening it up. And then don't forget about the bottom as well. And you just pinch, pinch, pinch until you've created that opening of that bowl shape. Okay, and it looks a little rough at first, but we'll make it look better. If you wanted to do a sphere, it's the same thing. I use my other one, roll it into a ball, and then do the same thing. So pinch, 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 pinch. Then, if this were just a bowl shape, I could just take my one, like this one right here. They basically just started to pinch it more so it's an oval, add on the face, add on the base. You just start with this basic shape, because this is where the wax will go for your candle, and you build from here, okay? If you're doing a sphere like this, you just have to take your two pieces and you put them together. Now these are a little too different in size, so I want to have the opening match a little bit more. Then, whenever I attach two pieces of clay together, what do I need to do?
Oh, you have to like use like something to like scratch it.
That's, yep, you have to scratch it, which is scoring. And what's the other part of that? Slip, right. So what you'll need is a bin of tools. So and yes, you'll probably get messy during this process. Just embrace the mess. Okay, put that all over it. Then I'm gonna put these together like so. And at first it's gonna look like kind of a weird looking egg, but we're going to shape it so it looks more like a sphere. So I go like this, I would blend the two pieces together on that seam, but it's very fragile, so I don't wanna push too hard. Then I'm gonna use my rib tools. These are the rubber ribs. These are good for, if you remember, all the ribs are good for smoothing. So one, it will smooth it out as you work. If you ever wanted to, whether it was like a flat piece you wanted to smooth or rounded. And what it's good for is shaping. So like if it looks dented, you use this edge and you just kind of tap it. And what happens as you tap it, it will continue to be rounded. Okay, so this is a smoother and a shaper. And you can also already see it starting to take its shape. Okay, so that's if you're doing a sphere or a pinch pop. That make sense? Any questions? Okay, so that's, but what do you think is the purpose of the sticks? Another guess? Yeah?
To flatten?
Right, it flattens it and it makes sure it doesn't get too flat. If I were just to roll it like this, I would roll it as thin as a piece of paper, right? And I can't build a piece of paper. So this will keep it that perfect thickness. Okay, so these are important for building. So I put those down, get a rolling pin. I'm gonna roll it 3 times to make a slab and then flip it. So I go 1, 2, 3, and then, oh, that's just some dry clay. Dry clay I can put in the slip. Then I flip it, okay? Don't forget to flip, because you gotta smooth this side. That's the step everybody forgets. So I keep going, 1, 2, 3, flip it over, 1, 2, 3, and you keep doing that until, see how it's just rolling on the sticks?
Yeah.
That means it's done, you're ready to move on, and now cut out your base. So if you're doing a cylinder, what shape should you do for your base?
Circle.
Circle, or if you're doing a rectangle, or well, I just said a rectangle, or if you're doing a cube, it would be a square. Okay, so whatever the base is, you're gonna cut that out. I do have some cookie cutters over there for some of the shapes. If you're doing a circle, you might wanna find something circular to trace, because tracing a perfect circle is pretty tough, right? So just find something for your circular, use your needle tool, cut out the base, and I always clean off the needle tool as I trim it so those little crumbly pieces don't get into my cut. Then, voila, I have my base. You put your name into your block, write that on there. Then I'm gonna make the walls, okay? So to make the walls, I need to have one really big slab that goes all the way around, okay? So to do the bigger slabs, I'm going to use the slab roller, which is right over here. So join me over here. I'm gonna show you how to use it. Okay, so step 1, you wanna pull this so you see the green lines. Everybody see the little green line right there? Because you need the slack of the canvas on this side so it can feed through the machine. Then you open it up like so, and you take your clay. You don't want a big chunk of clay like this. You want it to be a little bit flat. So I'm just gonna push it down. Remember, don't slam the clay, just push with your body weight. And I'm gonna take the clay, I'm gonna put it right up against the roller, okay? Don't leave it back here, nothing's gonna happen. It's gotta be right against it. You can get like 2 other people can have their clay up here, so like 3 people at a time, just make sure they're not touching, otherwise they're gonna merge together. Then, I'm gonna close it up like so. You wanna give it a little bit of a push once you start turning the wheel just to get it started. Then, once it starts to feed through, you can let go. So one person give it a little push, another person you're gonna turn the wheel. You wanna turn the wheel so you hear the clicking sound. If you turn it the wrong way, no clicking sound, okay? So turn it towards you, and then just kind of turn it at an even rate so you get a nice even slab. And then once it's done, you'll know it's done because see how the roller is moving but the canvas is not? That's how you know it's finished. You open it up and voila, you have your slab. Ooh. Now is a great time to add textures and things. Like I have all of these different textures you can use. Like you can roll a pine cone in it. You can put some of the stamps on there. These are also plaster stamps. You can, any of those things you can play around with. They also have metal letters you can use, or this is a great bin of different rubber stamps and textures. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what to do for a pattern, this is a great tool to use too. Okay, so you like, if you want to use one of these, you take this, put it down, and you take your rolling pin, and you roll it once and then twice. Okay, and if you have extra at the end, you can just roll it in there. I always check. Don't just rip it off because it might not work. Check it. Pull it, and then there you go. This is a great example of you could do for pattern, or if you have something else you're doing, but great example for that. Then, what you want to do is, if I were to stand this up like this, it's not perfectly flat. We want that base to be nice and straight. So from here, I'm going to use my straight edge, trim it so I have a nice clean edge. Then the top, I could just do it flat, or you can make it a little bit more interesting if you wanted to, but trim that as well. Now, whenever I attach something, what do I have to do? Slip and?
Wait, score.
Score, yes. Slip and score. So I score it all over, score, score, score. Anywhere you're going to attach it, score it up. Also, I'm going to attach this from the side, so I'm going to do the same thing there. Score, score, score. Okay, and I can tell this side's a little bit higher, so I'm going to trim that. Okay, then I have my slip all over. I'm going kind of fast, but just to show you the process. Then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to add it around the side. Okay, now some people, like let's say yours was way too short. I see a lot of people that are like, oh no, it's too short. Okay, pretend like that's too short. Oh no, what am I going to do? And they want to start all over again. If it's too short, a quick trick is just take a chunk of clay and add it on to the ends. Like just take a quick chunk, roll it out so it's an even thickness, add some slip on there, do a little score, add it on, blend it. You can add the texture back, do the same thing on the other side, make sure it's blended, then just roll that extra piece. This will save you a lot of time. See how I just added on that extra couple inches that I needed? A lot of people, when they start all over again, they just wasted almost a full class doing that and by starting over. So now it goes all the way plus more. So I'm going to take that piece, trim it so it's nice and clean. Take the other side, trim it so it's nice and clean. See, so it fits. If I've got extra, I could trim that as well so it fits a little bit better. Then I would slip and score in here too. You want to blend on the outside, you want to blend on the inside, and don't forget about the base. See that seam right there? We need to make this leak proof, right? Because we don't want the wax to seep out of it, so we really have to make sure you blend all of those seams. So I'm blending, blending, blending. Last thing to do to really make sure it's leak proof is on the inside where there's a seam in there, I'm also going to add a coil. So I'm going to take this. This is how you roll a coil. Coil's like a rope or a rope-like piece of clay. Take this, roll it on my palm to fingertips like so. I would add a little slip in there. Take your coil, put it right down there at the base. You can use your modeling tools too to help you get into those tighter areas that are hard to reach. See, you can see where I added it in there. So it's right in the base of your pot. And then I want to blend this. So I like to use the rounded edges for this, because I want to blend it in so that I can't even tell that it was ever there. Because remember, we're not only are we adding some stability to our walls, but we're also making sure it's leak proof. So see, I blended it. Now this is a sturdy wall. See how it's standing up? Now from here, I can start to build and I can start to do my additive features, my details, but we need to get that structure first. If you were doing a cube, it's the same thing. It's just that it would be a square base. and then I would build my walls. So I'd roll out a slab, cut out other walls, and I would attach them one side at a time like this side, this side. I would add my coil in here and here and here, and you build from there, okay? A couple other random things, like this is a mold that you can use if you wanted to make feet. You just basically take a chunk of clay and you put it in there, kind of just push in, and what happens is it makes a little foot, so I can trim that off, and it looks like this. Like here's one of them, and then it makes like a cute little foot for your piece, and you can do like 3 of them or 4 of them. And I got a bunch of different molds in there. Or there's molds over there you can use if you want to add a leaf on or other things. Lots of fun things you can play with. So when you put this away, you want to take your piece, you put it in the bottom of the bag so that there is little to no air in there when you take it out. But I also want you to take, if you have extra clay, take all of that extra clay, bundle it up. I don't want you to put it back in the bag. I want you to just save it for your piece. Because when I give you some clay, that's your starting point. Thank you. But you can always come back and get more. So you're going to take your extra clay, you're going to bundle it all up, and then you're going to get a wet paper towel, soak it in the sink, wrap this up in wet paper towel. This will absorb all that moisture, and it'll be workable for the next class. And then you put that into your bag, okay? But never wrap your actual piece in wet paper towel. It will collapse if you do that. So make sure, never wrap this in wet paper towel, just your extra clay. Then seal out all the air. Make sure you can hear the click when you close it. If you're worried about, oh, I can't hear the click, it doesn't work, just take this top opening and put it underneath the bottom of your piece, so that way it'll keep the air out. So put this away. There's shelves over here that have our class code. You can put it on one of those spots. Everybody gets their own parking spot, so make sure you don't put your bag on someone else's. Even if you just have an empty bag today, put it on a shelf, or you can put it on our class shelf where we've been storing our paintings and palettes, okay?